right, you got yours on?
Yes, sir.
All right, the hour's arrived. I call this meeting to order. Mr. Johnson, can I call on you to pray for us?
Father, we thank you again for allowing us to come into our workshop to handle the city business tonight. We actually look down upon it through wisdom and knowledge and understanding. We actually bless our city, our state, and our government, all our soldiers on the battlefield. Those that lost their life in the church, we actually look down upon them today and the families. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's pledge allegiance tonight, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gentlemen, you've got the agenda before you. Any additions or corrections that you want to make to the agenda? Hearing none, I entertain a motion that we approve it.
Out the motion.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we approve the agenda. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Bloodworth. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is set. Curry Street, who's handling this?
Mr. Gooch was supposed to be here tonight, and we have refreshed his memory just this morning. The zoning committee had a meeting last Monday in regards to the corner of Curry Street and Fraser Street. Currently, it is an R3, and they are wanting to change it to a C2. Mr. Wooten is wanting to put up storage buildings on that site. It's the site of where the old silo bins used to be for Gold Kiss when I was growing up. And everyone that was there was in approval of this, to change it from an R3 to a C2.
I talked to Mr. Goode this morning too. And he tells me, and also Charles Carroll tells me, that everything is done and it's ready for us on Thursday night to approve the zoning adjustment, and that they can proceed with what they're doing. Has anybody got any questions?
Pick it up Thursday night and approve it.
All right, good, let's move on. The resolution between the county and the city, Ms. Bennett, did she give you that information?
Yeah, she told me that this is concerning the project out at the old athletic association and the meetings that they had. The athletic association, as I understand it, is willing to convey the property to the county with the city having a permanent perpetual easement for doing what it's going to do with the farmers market and the splash pad, etc. But they want a letter of commitment from the city and county that this project is going through, and they want a reverter clause in the deed. If it ever ceases to be used for these purposes, then it'll come back to the athletic
I
association.
understand that. I'm sort of in favor of that type of
Yeah.
thing. But said, can you get it drawn up for us in a form that you
Sure.
think, Councilman, you all got anything you want to tell him about this?
I think that the city doesn't need the easement for the farmers market, because I think the county's building that.
Well, I think it should be the whole combined unit as a composite. I don't think it should be individual units. I think the entire utilization of the park, if jointly operated by city and county, this thing should apply to both of us.
What I understood, Tommy, is that basically the county would hold title, and the city would have perpetual easement for whatever project y'all do out there. It's not compartmentalized really, that's just what's in plan's name. And what we'll have for Thursday night will just be the commitment letter. All the other documents will come later.
Okay. Does that satisfy you, Mr. Purser? Anybody else? I sure would like for that project to move on.
Me too.
I think that'd be mighty good for the city. So I'm certainly willing if you get it drawn up for us and communicate with the county officials, whatever you need to do, and so that when we do approve it and get it done, everybody's satisfied. Anything else on that 341 project? Hearing none, let's move on to number 4. This is a discuss deep downtown development authority recommendation and the facade down there grants. Mr. Purser, I believe this is your item.
Yeah, last week the DDA met and voted unanimously to recommend to the city that there are 2 businesses downtown that want to improve their facades, and the Department of Community Affairs is, they look very favorably on facade grants, and the 2 businesses are Barnador Auto Parts and the other one is the property that's owned by the Terry Rush's, Mary Lowry on Henson Street and possibly on Tallahassee Street, and they want to, Barnador's wants to put awnings out in front of their building, and Terry Rush is the one who talked to me. She wants to put like apartments to subdivide those buildings down there, makes apartments. Of course, we can't help with her apartments, but we can help with her improving the facade. That's a perfectly legal thing, and we have enough money left in the streetscape SPLOST to finance, giving each of them match whatever they spend up to a maximum of $5,000 each. And that's the recommendation. We can handle it Thursday. There's no need to vote on it tonight.
Do we need to vote on it Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is the total amount of the, will be spent on the 2 projects?
A maximum of $10,000 total.
Total 5.
Coming from streetscape SPLOST.
Do we need to elect some creative person to design us something and let us approve what it's gonna look like?
They can do that. That's their responsibility.
Didn't one time y'all, they had something, where they had a code scheme or something they were doing at the DDA?
No, that was, yeah, we did it, this was back when, this years ago, it was on the property that the Wilcox people own, across from Handy, and they did that, but the DDA didn't have any money at that time, so we couldn't help them with it. That was on the property.
Well, I've talked to the Mary Lowry and her family about what they want to do, and I sent them up to McCray to look at how they've taken some buildings just like theirs in downtown McCray and converted those to apartments, so I'm very familiar with that. In fact, I've recommended that, and I would certainly like to see it. Several people living in there, and it would certainly improve the traffic and other things that we could do downtown, so I'm certainly in favor of it. The only thing that I'm wondering now, are we gonna be able to, and as you're telling me, we're gonna bring a proposal that we allocate $10,000 of DDA money for these 2 businesses to improve their facade. Can they take that DDA money and attach something to their building?
Yeah, actually, it's not DDA money, it's SPLOST money.
Can they take that and attach it to their building?
I don't know what you mean attach. We're just gonna, if they do $7,000 worth of, we pay them $3,500, half of it, to help them improve the downtown.
Even if it becomes a part of their building?
Yeah.
I think you need to check into that.
Well, I've been to DDA training twice, and they encourage facade grants.
Sounds good to me. I was thinking that you couldn't attach it to their building. Thought it had to be something separate entity, but I'm probably wrong.
I mean,
I'm
that's
just
just as far as I
asking a
know, if it's SPLOST funding and it's for downtown development improvement and everything, it can be used as such, whether it attaches to the building or whether it's a standalone. Because it's earmarked for downtown development and or improvement. Am I wrong, Tommy, or is?
That's right.
Okay, if y'all says done on that, I certainly would like to see it done. I would certainly like to see a lot done in that area down your street as well. Okay, so we'll be ready to, I guess, Thursday night to approve the recommendations. We'll allocate $10,000 for those two projects out of SPOS funds. Okay, anything else? Okay, revolving loan fund compliance letter. Bernice, you want to tell them what this is?
If you will notice in your packet, there is a letter received from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. It states, as we addressed in our February 27, 2017 letter, the City of Hazelhurst Local Revolving Loan Fund, RLF, is currently out of compliance due to no loans being made in the past 5 years. As of June 30th, 2017, the RLF had a cash balance of $46,986.09 with no outstanding loans. If you will remember, the last loan that was done was 2 Second Harvest for a refrigerated truck as well as a pallet jack. That was paid back to the city in a timely fashion and everything. The loan was done in 2011, I believe, with the last payment made in 2015. And if you'll continue on there, the RLF is limited, no additional loans are likely given, the cash balance. It could hinder the City of Hazelhurst in the future with regard to applying for various Department of Community Affairs grants programs. And they're recommending that we close the RLF and return the full outstanding cash balance to DCA. If we do so, the city will no longer have to submit the RLF semi-annual report, but by closing and returning the funds, the City of Hazelhurst will earn 5 bonus points toward their next CDBG application if one is submitted within the next 2 years.
Okay, you've heard that, and I've looked at a couple of projects that we could use lend money from to a couple of businesses, and after I looked and looked at it with Sarah Davis a little bit, I think the 5 points on our next 750,000 CDBG will be much more value to us.
As hard as they're making it with the standards for CDBG loans anymore and everything, the more points we got, the better off we're gonna be, I believe. I mean, that's my opinion. Because like I said, the money's going up, but it's gonna be a lot stricter on the points awarded and everything.
Well, we don't have time to really put up,
No.
I've already looked into the possibilities of loans, and I couldn't get it all put together. But I think right now with the situation, we can easily notify them that we'll refund the balance of this money and get 5 points on our next thing, and that's sort of what I'm gonna recommend, but whatever y'all think.
I believe that's what we should do, it's my opinion.
Any further discussion relative to this revolving loan fund?
But they said that, I mean, they are recommending us getting back, because I was always taught if we ever sending money back to hinder this grant. So if they're recommending this, it really will help us if we go ahead and get this
Give us
back.
5 points on our next CDBG. And I think that'll be more value than finding a place to, see, this is not a grant to people. This is money that if we put it out and help somebody somewhere, they've got to set up a loan payment schedule and pay this money back.
Right.
So I tried a couple of things that didn't work. So I'm gonna recommend that Thursday night, we approve the sending of this money back, and with the assurance that it'll give us 5 points on our 750,000 CDBG. Is that okay with everybody? We'll find out Thursday night. Okay, Ms. Race, I believe you and your staff have been working on this occupational and business license fees.
Yes, I presented this earlier in the year to you all as the council. I have done additional research, and if you see attached, you're seeing the fees that we currently charge for business license, as well as information that I received from additional cities. You will also notice at the very back of the page, I did what we, I'm having a time flipping, and y'all have to forgive me. The North American Industry Classification System. There's 6 different classes, and this is used by banking facilities by city governments, county governments, so on and so forth, showing you where the different classes fall. The city of Hazelhurst currently charges $35 for an admin fee, with the basic license fee being $60, and you can see that it's different pricing for different businesses. In researching various cities comparable to us, I'm not talking about these huge cities outside of Atlanta or Savannah or Macon. These are cities that are based on our quota of people within the city and so on and so forth. The minimum admin fee thus far is $40, with the maximum admin fee being $75. Also, regarding the fee amounts for different businesses in the licensing, it ranged from a minimum amount of $75 to a maximum amount of $800. And I'm going to give you an example. 2 cities that have a McDonald's in their city limits. One pays a $400 business license fee. The other city, it pays $600 for their business license fee. The city of Hazelhurst, for the McDonald's that is located here, and you all know as well as I do that that tax money does not stay in the city of Hazelhurst, is only $155. That's how much money we are losing when it comes to something like that. And that's just one example. So you can take and think about, we've got a Burger King, we've got a Hardee's, and so on and so forth. These are the type fees that we are losing within the city of Hazelhurst if we're only charging $155 and compare it to a $400 or a $600. And I'm just asking you, we are short on the general fund. We just went through a budgeting process. It's something that needs to be looked at. The water and sewer is an enterprise fund. They've got their funds. We don't have to worry about that. But when you have to sit and look at the general budget and you're writing out these bills and you're wondering, well, are we going to have the funds to cover this? This is an item that needs to be looked at and addressed.
You talking about increasing professional licenses as well?
Yeah, occupational and business license, yeah.
Yeah. I do know when it comes to professional licensing, Commissioner Bloodworth, you cannot charge no more than $400. Now, that's not counting in your admin fee, but there is certain laws that protect professional licensing.
Okay, gentlemen, you got any discussion on this matter?
My only thing, me and Ms. Lopez, we talked a while, and I still have a little concern. I know we got to do something, tighten our belt and all. I'm just a great opponent. I just don't want to put a lot on our businesses if we can help it. We need as much as we can. But the thing that I don't understand is we can't get them to come in time now for the little bit that we're doing, and then we put more on them.
Well,
I mean, I just don't, that's why I said, let us really think about it, and I appreciate her looking at this, because we got to do something about the budget to get it in line. But let's at least think about this before we put a lot of it on our businesses.
Amen.
well, I mean, you think about it like that, and, with what we've got now, anything relocating in here now, what's relocated in here at this point? I mean, you're taking and the larger corporations that come in and everything else, that's not, you're talking about an annual cost of doing business of $400 with a multi-million-dollar business on 9 out of 10 of them, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're not talking about anything but a cost of doing business when the majority of it, well, these people, we're paying them this, that, and the other, they're happy to pay us and everything else. And they can't understand why they're not paying any more. But, like I said, I mean, I understand it from your point of view also. But this is something that was looked at and discussed several years ago, and well, right after I came on council, and it was the same thing then. Well, do we really want to do that? Well, it's to the point now where we really got to do something.
What is, if you don't mind, and you may not remember offhand, Eric, what is your company's business license a year?
I don't remember, it's something extremely low.
Auto supply store with his admin fee of, I believe, said $35. Auto supply store, $98.
So, I mean, it's less than 100 bucks. And I mean,
Pay more than that.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, we've got corporate businesses in here paying peanuts. But
He would fall under the protected category as well, if I'm not mistaken.
But anyway, that's my opinion, so let's,
Well, let me conclude in saying this. Eric, Mr. Johnson has just said that his business is paying $90. And I just consulted with a fellow pretty close to me, he says his professional fee is about $125. And when you go all over town, I don't think McDonald's or Crystal or Burger King or Captain D's or anybody else that might be coming in here, the difference between $150 and $400 or $600 annual license fee is not going to keep them from coming or leaving or whatnot. We may need to check and see if the number of businesses would generate us $10,000 or $20,000, and if it would, we damn sure need it. All right, anything else? Okay, Chief Williams, I believe you're next with your request here. You got three items. We got 7, 8, and 9, vehicles, K9, and hiring. We need to
Yes,
come
sir.
up here.
Ms. Lopez should have put mine ahead of that one, y'all just did.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Lopez, did you put the, yeah, I see it now. You have in your packets, quotes I have for 2 vehicles and what it's gonna cost to equip.
Let's bow our heads and have a word of prayer. Everything's mighty quiet.
Mine should have went ahead of that one, you just did.
Gentlemen, what have you to say? Chief is before you with a request for 2 vehicles.
Doesn't he have money coming in the SPOS for the approval?
He will beginning the first of the year,
Right.
Commissioner Brookwood. Yes, sir, he will.
But you know, we just signed a note now for $300,000. Of course, we haven't used any of it, but we got a line of credit approved for, when we were running so close on money. We've definitely,
we don't
pardon?
need to go that route now. If we're gonna do this, we need to do it the same way we did the fire truck and everything else, put it on a separate note to be renewed, and then pay it through the SPOTS payment and everything. That's the only way we need to do this at all. We don't need to mess with that line of credit. I mean, just to be honest with you.
I agree with you.
I mean,
How, can you make out for a while longer, Chief? Can you,
I think they gave you a pretty good deal if you go ahead and do something that.
Right, yeah, I go ahead. You won't.
did they, let me ask you, when I talked to you the other day, you said you could take and tell them, yeah, you wasn't committing no money at this point, whatever else, but to go ahead and get it ordered so you'd have the order in and everything,
Right.
correct? Have you
Right.
done that?
Yes, order
Okay.
in.
Now, would
I mean, we're under no obligation, but the order's in.
orders in, now, at this point and everything else, what will be, did they give you an estimated delivery time of the vehicles?
3, 4 weeks.
So we at least have until probably the first of the year to take, when they come in, tell them, hey, we got it coming, we can do this. I mean,
They should be on the, both should be end of the month. They should be ready. End of this month
Pickup
for pickup, right?
at this price.
At this price, yes.
I mean, and the price you got here, you can't beat it. I mean, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, you're not gonna take and beat the price that they've given us on these. that they can do this. We do not, like I said, don't need to mess with line of credit, we need to do it as spots and everything else. And now this is one thing too that, you know, we need to make sure, Splots, what it is the best guess on taxes is what we've done. That's the best guess and this is what we're gonna best get. But the percentages is what we need to take and make sure that we're not gonna go over. Just because we said, okay, we're gonna allocate $100,000 for the golf course, you know what I'm saying, over the next 5 years, we don't just say, well, they're gonna get $100,000. It's like me and you talk and everything. We need to make sure we stay within what is actually coming in to be done, other than just take and say, well, y'all said it's $100,000, and then we don't hit that mark.
If you go ahead and buy these cars now, they'll be wore out before your spot's gonna get there.
Well, like I said, I mean, if we take,
Here's the problem I got. I got 3 cars over there with 100,000 miles apiece on them. They're 2012 models. Ladies and gentlemen, 100,000 miles in the city limits is probably like 300,000 or 400,000 on the highway. They're wore out. They're wore out. And eventually, it's gonna cost more to fix than it would be to get new cars.
Ken, do you have to have 2 at one time? I thought it was something, I knew the council in the past, there was a law that we tried to have a new car give to the police department either every year or every other year, the way Steve had it set up that time. It's supposed to be rotating them through. Do you have to have 2 of them at one time?
Think about it, one for the road and one for detective.
Oh. But you wouldn't change this detective car every year though, right?
No,
Right, that's correct.
No.
That's right.
If I may interject here, and I'm trying to think about the payments that are coming out, because you got public safety, you have it for the police department, you also have it for the fire department, okay? So we know we've got a fire engine payment that's gonna be coming out by sometime the first of the year, I wanna say somewhere between March and April, okay? All right, you've already got your other line, you got your loan for your ladder truck, that's also gonna be coming out of that later in the year when that note matures. So those are the things that you're also gonna have to think about as you go through this, because you've got to wait for your funding to come in before you can write out that check. So, and y'all need to look at those checkbooks and look at that. So, because I'm the one sitting in there and watching, having to watch all this, so.
We don't have, in other words, too, see, right now with that SPOS fund, balance is not sufficient to make the purchase of these 2 cars. If we gonna go in now and purchase the 2 cars, the money's not there. So we've got to make some arrangements.
right, and that's what he was talking about with the actual,
But the time delay that he's talking about, within 2 or 3 weeks, they want the money for the car.
and like I said, I mean, Renaissance has got a 425 and everything. And that would be, we're doing annual payments and everything, if I'm not mistaken. But now, would we be able to set the annual payment up so that we laid enough in the year that there would be Splots money available for the 2 vehicles, because it would be set up for 5 annual payments, and then we would have to make sure we had that money at the end of the year to take and to do.
Okay, for fire engine 2,
Understand?
the last payment will be coming out March to June, as I said. That's the very last payment on engine 2. Okay, then you've got your ladder truck that we've already done, I can't remember what month, so please don't hold me. We've got that's gonna be coming out at the end of that.
And by the way, now your ladder truck will be delivered, we're hoping to have it in the Christmas parade.
So if we do it, we're gonna have to look at, it would have to be toward the end of the year. Because I'm thinking that the ladder truck was either June to September that we did that, if not earlier. And please don't hold me to those dates, because I've got so much that. But also, if you will look back at your email from Ms. Brown, If we can get our city attorney to draft a letter that it would be a tax exempt loan, it would be approximately 2.85% to 3%, which is lower than a 4.25%. Because I was working diligently to get the lowest
So
quote
you're
that I
saying that we
could.
could go ahead against our anticipated SPOS funds that's coming in and make a loan for the 2% interest rate and go ahead and purchase the car?
And then have it
She would
set
work
up to
with
make,
us, yes.
and have it set up to make the payment,
As the SPOS comes in?
as slot to come in toward, they have it set up for that, because it'll be set up in 5 payments is what it says.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
set it up toward the end of the year for next year to make the first payment.
We really need to do it if we can.
And like I said, and also, like I said, the cars and everything right now that you've got, the ones that are, and this is another thing too, if we have cars that we need to take and sell, any proceeds we can get from that will go straight back to the loan. And that way there, it'll help save those SPOS funds.
We don't get nothing for it.
Well, the thing about it is be surprised at what you can get out of those vehicles and everything, even on the 100,000 miles. Like I said, it is inside the city limits miles, and they're bad, that's rough miles. I mean, but the thing about it is you'd be surprised what you can get out of them.
Well, I think then if we should go ahead with this, which is, some are talking favorable to it, I think as soon as you make this commitment, if you can get that, those others sold and get that money back in, we need it.
I will tell you this, if you will allow Lori to help sell that, you'd be surprised at what you would get out of it.
I don't have any problem with that.
I think sometimes she could
In fact, I would
sell a
probably ask
penny
her
for a
if
gold
we,
nugget, the way she
But
does it.
she's done that before.
Yeah. And I
Gentlemen,
think
y'all have anything else you want to hash out with the chief on this item? Because he's got another words coming up. Okay, it appears then if you'll be ready to make your motion Thursday night, we'll handle it one way or the other. Okay, go ahead with your next item.
The next item is the K-9 that we discussed at the last meeting.
Did you tell me that you could live without that for a while?
I can. It's totally up to the city
You
council.
just bringing it before us to decide what we want
Right.
to do with it.
Basically, here's my thing. This dog is still at Officer Nelm's house. Okay?
The one that's no good.
But it cannot be used.
We need to get that on.
I need to know what y'all wanna do.
Have Jerry continue to favor.
I mean,
Didn't you say you could sell him to somebody?
it's been told to me that there may be a program that you can do that.
And you check that out and we'll, I mean, that's
Try
what.
to check that out and come back to us Thursday night, we'll see what we do. You definitely need, since that dog is not being used, we definitely don't need to be feeding that dog.
Well, the food is donated by Walmart, so we're not spending any money, we're not going to the vet, we're not doing anything at this time. It's just being housed.
So my recommendation, of course, is up to the council. My recommendation is for you to, as soon as possible, find a home for that dog.
Okay?
Okay, go on to your next one.
Hiring police officers. I'm too short, and with the, I'm running 2 people per shift, and, well, this happened over the weekend. Had a call in, because somebody's sick, you know, people are sick right now. I've had the crud, and so everybody else has too right now. It seems to be going around, but I had somebody call in sick Saturday night. Well, then I couldn't find anybody to work. I had to take my investigator, who I need during the week, and make him work a Saturday night, which he's not above working a Saturday night. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I need some more people to try to make this overtime thing go away. I gotta have some help where I can make comp time out of it instead of overtime.
Gentlemen, you've heard the chief's request.
And here's my, I know that y'all let me hire somebody that's already certified. That, I'm not having anybody apply that's already been through mandate school, or I'm just not having any applicants.
And sometimes it's better to hire a man and train him like you want him to be trained, and get some John Wayne in here that thinks he knows how to do everything.
Just a couple of things I need to know is, if we send somebody to school, are we gonna pay them, and what are we gonna pay them while they're at school? Basically, it's kinda hard for a man to quit a job to go to a school when he's not gonna be making any income during the week. That's what I'm asking. If we're gonna send them, I already told you that the state will pay the tuition. I think it's $3,000. The state picks that up.
We have to pay food and lodging.
Food and lodging, yes. And their
And the
uniforms.
salary.
And a law book. The
And the
law.
law book's like $50.
But you got to pay their salary during that time.
That's my
And
thing.
food and lodging,
Right,
yeah. And then they, as far as the tuition and other materials, the state pays.
right.
So if you're gonna hire an officer, it's gonna take 3 months. I think we figured it would cost around $10,000 or $15,000 when you get through with salary and food and lodging and whatnot. You got $10,000 invested, but now Tommy had mentioned earlier too, that if they come in on the weekends, seem to be like, can you use them in law enforcement while they're in van?
Now, if they don't have any arrest powers, they're not doing me any good. If they're not,
They're not certified, they don't have the power to arrest.
But can they, it seems that we've worked 2 men together a lot of times, you still, I don't know that, I'm just
that
asking.
would be like, I mean, honestly,
You want
that would
security
be like me
guard.
putting you out there,
You want security guards.
Mayor. You're not.
I mean, that's the difference.
Well, the thing
Liability.
about it is, let's put it, and another thing too, we can look at, if we had to pay somebody to go through whatever else. I don't think we're gonna pay somebody to go through training, because we don't know if they're gonna make it or not. That's fine, if we pay them and everything else, but we ain't gonna pay them the full salary to go through training. We're
I
not
understand
gonna pay, we wouldn't pay, and then again, too, if we did do something like that, until they took, in my opinion, and the council can look at it and everything, how they want to do what will, but after that 90 days or however long it takes him, once he comes back and becomes fully installed as an officer or whatever else at that point, then his insurance would start and be covered. He would be covered for insurance at that time, not before. I mean, that's, and.
That'll be used to cost a good bit if you can.
And I'm thinking right off the bat too and everything, and I know y'all think this is pretty cheap on my part and whatever else, but if you're paying a man, if you're paying him full salary at $15 an hour and he makes it for 6 weeks, breaks his leg, flunks out, and then decides not to go back, finish whatever else, then you've lost that. So, regardless now, I don't know about the tuition part of it and everything else, whether the state would take and reimburse you any at all if they flunked out of it, or do we just eat that cost? Then, so what I'm saying is if we decide to do this and whatever else, to get one to get officer hired, my recommendation, y'all think what you will about the price I'm fitting to throw out there, hire the man at $8 an hour to go to school, and then when he gets through, then give him the raise and then give him his benefits.
I don't
If
think
he
it
makes
makes
it. We split the difference at $8.50. I mean, I know y'all think that sounds chintzy and everything, but the man's got a place to live, he's got food to eat, and then he's getting paid to go to school. When he gets through, then he makes what an officer makes. But I mean, that's my opinion.
I mean, that's why I brought it, so, because I can't make that
I understand.
determination.
I mean, but I'm just putting out there, this is me, and I want the council to hear what I'm saying and everything, and see what their thinking is behind it and everything else, because that's what I would propose if we do this. Now, do we need officers? Yes. Do we need to cut overtime? Yes. The need's there, but we've got to make sure we go about it the right way and and I know y'all get tired of hearing it with as little funding as possible and everything else. I know y'all get tired of hearing it, everybody does. But it is what it is at this point, right now. I mean, we gonna have to take and tighten up a little bit. And I mean, I said, I'm in no way saying no about it, but I want the council to think, no, that's what I think about it.
Anything else, anybody else?
I looked closely at the, where he supplied us all with the overtime hours, and it's clear it would take 2 officers. One officer ain't gonna do it. You gotta have 2 to eliminate, or well, even then, you're not gonna eliminate, you'll never eliminate all the overtime. But it certainly would take, it would help.
Well, it'd be a start somewhere, Tom. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
other than that, I mean, it's too, I don't know, there may be somebody that is post-certified somewhere that wants part-time, to do part-time work with us. We can do that. I mean, it costs us nothing but the salary of the officer. And that's another option too. And I mean, I understand you really rather not have somebody that's in another department come in here and work on their off day here, there, or whatever else, but like I said, I mean, we all know it happens, we all know they do it.
Ken, do you have any applicants that come in that would meet the criteria that Eric's talking about, that would be willing to take a job at that rate of pay to go to a police academy?
I feel like I may have two right now.
That would take that sort of deal?
I have 5 applications
But you
in my
think,
office right now. None of them are certified.
but you think they would be willing to take this without any benefits at this rate of salary to go to school? And you think they have the potential when they get through that you can retain them? Because supposedly, we've taken care of that with the rate of pay we're paying compared to everybody else. We've already tried to take care of that.
Yes, sir.
Well, y'all heard it. Any more discussion? Get ready to make a proposal Thursday night.
Okay.
We'll do something.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Purser, I believe you're number 10.
Yeah, Bernice and I attended a meeting with RDC was it last Monday, Bernice, or Monday before?
Yes, it was last Monday.
Okay, and anyway, during the course of the meeting, it was just talking about the comprehensive plan and that type of thing, but James Pope, I think was his name, said that, informed me that a study had been done by someone hired by the Department of Transportation about having safe traffic around schools. And I think he's got a copy of it. It showed that they recommended 2 roundabouts, exactly the same spot where, we voted to do it. So this was done in June of 2016. I just found out about it last Monday. But anyway, I just want to update you on that. And that Blake Tillery is really stepped to the plate to try to help us with it. And, he had talked to the DOT folks and felt like that would help our application to know that DOT had recommended, or their consultant had recommended those roundabouts. That's all I got.
Okay, any further discussion or questions about the roundabouts? Okay, hearing not, we'll move on to 11. Gentlemen, I told us, remember I said several years ago when we got started with this Lumino landfill thing, we'd never see the end of it. We got another deal that's come up, it's gonna cost $11,000 out there with testing methane gas and other aspects of engineering to supposedly get that thing closed out. Ken, have you heard, you looked at that material and are you ready to make any recommendation on this thing?
I mean, you ain't got a lot of choice, you gotta do it.
Well, I met out there with Maddox and, with, Furtick and, one other fellow. And they said that they had that thing about ready to close down, and that's what this information says, it's $11,000. Now, the little fellow that I can't call his name, I got his card in there, and I meant to bring it in and I forgot it. He told me, when we left out there about a month or so ago, he said, Mr. Stone, we have not in the past had any money for this. He says, we may have some funds. I said, well, would you look and see if you can help us? We're in a destitute situation financially, and we don't need to keep pouring money into this thing. And he said he would look into it, and y'all, I'll have to admit that I have not heard from him, but I will, between now and Thursday, I will call and get a hold of him and see if we stand a Chinaman's chance of getting some additional funds for this thing. Now, $11,000 something, of course, we only were responsible for 60% of it, which is $6,600 something. But at any rate, it's another $6,600 or whatever it is dollars. And I wonder if this time it will be the end every time that something else crops up. But anyway, anybody got anything to say about it? Okay, let's move on. Training, chief, training for Chris Morrison, October 30th, what's that, so, heck, that's already been, that's passed.
Okay,
Hey,
Chief,
you want, you,
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Chris came to me and he said that he had been signed up for instructor training, if you will look at the brochure that's in your packet. His first week was for October the 30th, and I said, okay, that wasn't on the agenda. I said, get me what you need to, and I said, I'll take care of this. He finished 1 week, and he returned back last week, and he's left again today,
Right.
correct? So
Right.
he's finishing up his 2nd week of instructor training. And he just really blew my mind. He got up there to Forsyth and he said, Miss Bernice, if I can't find a room, then I will have to go to a hotel. I said, I'll deal with that when you get there. But bless his heart, he got up there and he was able to get a room in the Forsyth Training Center. It only cost the city $60 for him to stay up there all week long, plus whatever few meals, and every few meals that I noticed was either to some fast food joint, so he did not spend a lot of money. And but this is just saying that he's going to finish his training for his instructor training.
That's some very rigorous training, too.
he said it was the hardest class he's ever been through in his life.
It's awful.
He said he didn't have a clue it was gonna be like that.
We've already pretty well handled that. I don't think that even needs to be on the agenda, tonight. You can get rid of that. Okay, let's move along. The next thing is discuss invoices, Turnip Seed Engineering. Y'all have a chance to look at those? If you have, you'll see that 2 of them is for the GIS contract inclusion, and Glenn and I have gone over that with them on a regular basis, and they're about to turn that over to us. We've got to have a training session for our city employees to begin to take over and be able to utilize the thing, and that's, we're anticipating that being here soon. The 3rd invoice for $3,000 something for something that he came to Glenn and I some time ago and said that he had all of that prepared and for documentation on where these routes, possibilities, where they would go, what we might decide on, what we should select, and that he thought that we would be foolish not to have his people to consolidate it for us while they had it. And we approved for him to go ahead and spend that $3,000, and Glenn and I have already talked about that's to be handled. But anyway, if we go Thursday night, entertain a motion to approve the invoices, 2 of which is for a long since been approved, and the 3rd is something Glenn and I got him to do for us. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I didn't understand the last 2. One's invoice number 36-117, the other's 36-118. It's 2 separate invoices. And both of them said that, one of them says total earned is 19,000 something, the other one says 21,000, although the payment is less. Does that mean we've already spent 40, they've already earned $40,000?
Yeah, the total bill was 2 different. If you look, one was, I don't have an endorsement.
But it says the same thing.
No, one's 28 and one's 26.
I know, excuse me? I know, but what I'm saying is, the project is,
Part of it is water lines, part of it is sewer lines. And it's broken down.
Okay, I see.
If you look at the 2 different contracts, it's 2 different contracts and they wrap them up. And that concludes what we've already signed a contract for.
so they have spent, we owe them $40,000.
No, we've already paid, look what's already been. we've
Yeah,
already
they
paid
did
everything.
this in phases, Commissioner Purser, and they would send it in. And this was more, the contract that you all had previously approved to say go ahead and do it and make the payments to them as they came in. And this was on the GIS mapping for the water system as well as for the sewer system.
Any further discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion this Thursday night that we pay them for the work that they've done. Okay, this resolution to support GMA legislative policy regarding de-annexation. Bernice, I'm gonna let you handle that.
Yes, sir. Back on October the 19th, being a member of the Georgia Municipal Association and the city clerks within the state of Georgia, there is someone that is wanting to de-annex the city of Stockbridge. And Miss Vanessa Holliday, who is the city clerk for Stockbridge, sent a letter to the mayor and the city council members of all Georgia municipalities. If you read that, there's a lot of information there. You see where the mayor signed it, as well as all the council members regarding they're asking that all cities in the state of Georgia, who is also a member of the GMA, to sign a resolution urging the Georgia General Assembly to oppose de-annexation legislation to create new municipalities, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent resolutions, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. Basically, they're trying to de-annex the city without talking to the governing bodies or going to the voters of the existing municipalities. So just be sure to read that, and I would like for you all to sign that Thursday night so that I can get it back to them before the deadline of the 30th.
The gentleman had an opportunity to read that request.
Do you know what the GMA
The GMA is against this.
They're
That's-
for the municipalities signing these resolutions to help
Yes.
the legislators to stop it.
Yes,
So it is the GMA position and not just Stockbridge.
right. It is GMA's position
I
also.
think we need to look into that. If it is GMA's position, I don't have any problem, but if it's just an individual municipality to get in there, we'll fight. I don't know whether we're gonna get into it or not. But anyway, if it is a, the letter is from GMA.
If you will look
It's
at your letter.
The letter's from Stockbridge.
It's from Stockbridge, but if you will look at your fourth paragraph in that letter, on the second page, the entire membership of the Georgia Municipal Association was unanimous in supporting the position in the GMA 2018 legislative policies that portions of existing municipalities should not be de-annexed to create new municipalities unless consented to by the governing body of the existing municipality or the voters of the existing municipality.
Okay, so it is their position, that's good. All right, she'll have that ready for us to handle Thursday night. Okay, Regional Commission, Part of Georgia Regional Commission in the City of Hazel's Water System Improvement Information. Who's got that? Hmm?
You said you would handle that.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing we approved the other day. I'm sorry, I overlooked that. That's, there's nothing that we need to do on that. They just initiated the environmental study that we approved several weeks ago, and there's nothing involved in that. That's just information. Okay. Number 16, the Christmas parade, December the 9th.
Chief Williams brought this into my office one day last week, and the Chamber of Commerce has brought the request for the annual Christmas parade. Forgive me, I can't talk tonight. It's scheduled for December the 9th. That is something that you, as council members and mayor, will need to put on your calendar, because I would love to see you all participating in this, if at all possible. It will begin at 6 o'clock, and if you will notice, the route is included in this letter. We will need to get the approval for this Thursday night.
You're asking all of us to participate?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this,
Yes, sir.
whatever we ride in, will it be available and decorated prior to our arrival to it? Because it was not last year.
That I don't know.
Remember that?
You let me know what you're gonna do, and I'll see what we can get done.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and we'll approve the Christmas parade and handle that Thursday night. Okay, going on to 17, 18, and 17 and 18.
Your check register will be available Thursday night. Miss
Thursday night.
Tammy has been trying to finish the year-end closeout.
All right, we'll move on. Anybody got any questions about 17, 18? All right, I believe that number 19, are you Miss Jones?
I
I am.
Okay, Ms. Jones, I believe you'll come up right here and state your case.
Good evening to everybody. I'm
Good
Denise
evening.
Jones.
Good evening.
I really don't know how to start off this, so if you just allow me a couple of minutes and I will work into why I am here. My son is a student at the high school here. He was walking to school on the 10th of last month and got hit by a car. She hit him from behind. So she picked him up, she put him in the car, and she dropped him off at the high school. He went and told the teachers that he was in pain and he got hit. So he went to the nurse, and the nurse calls me. I'm an auditor for, I do Walmart, so I have 3 stores. So I was in Vidalia, and the nurse calls me, and she says, Ms. Jones, I just want to let you know that your son was hit by a car, but he's okay. I said, really? I said, well, how about you dial 911 and take him to the emergency room? Which nothing was done until this point. So I get to the emergency room, and there's a guy there from the school. I want to say maybe his name was Mr. Smith. And he says, Ms. Jones, we're not liable for this. And it took me aback. I said, my goodness, that's not the first thing that you say to somebody when they walk into the emergency room. So I had a conversation with my son, had a conversation with the gentleman in there. And I get my son, and he's got contusions on his head, his hands, and his legs. And we go back to the scene, which is behind Greenbrier Apartments. I live in Greenbrier Apartments, so it's right there at the bridge. And we go and we find his phone, and it's in somebody's yard. And I take him home, and I go to the police station, and I am talking to, I believe his name is Officer Bush. And he says, well, nobody called us initially. So, we don't have anything to go on. Nobody called until you made them call us, call us. So nothing from the school or anybody was done at this point until I called. So I said, okay, cool. And I said, well, what are we gonna do about her? Because they know who she is. The school seems to know who she was. And the school in turn calls her and talks to her mom. And her mother tells her, my daughter's in Douglas, she's going to college. And she'll come by the police station at 5 o'clock. And this has happened at 7:30 in the morning. So I'm baffled, I'm really baffled talking to this officer. And I told him I wasn't happy. So he gets his sergeant or whoever he is, and he said, you can't, we're not gonna charge her with hit and run because she dropped him off at school. I said, really? He said, but you can go and take a warrant out through the magistrate or whatever. And I said, that's not my job. He said, but we can also take a warrant out against your son. I said, really? I said, please tell me, what are we gonna charge him with? Because there's no crosswalk at the school. There's nothing there to get the children across to the high school. So what are we gonna charge my son with? Please tell me, as he could not tell me. And I said, if it was me who hit little Johnny, you would have me in handcuffs. You wouldn't have let me drive to Douglas. And I'd be in jail. I said, so at this point, I guess you just want me to get a lawyer. I politely walked out. So I've been waiting. This happened on the 10th. I've been waiting. When I got home, let me back up. I called City Hall. I talked to this young lady here who has been very pleasant, and I thank you so much. And I talked to this gentleman here, very outstanding people, didn't have a problem with them. But as I talked to him, and I want to say your name is Mr. Bloodworth.
Correct.
And he said, I believe other kids have gotten hit there.
I've never said that.
You didn't say anybody had got hit
No,
there.
ma'am.
What was that you told me?
What I said was that we had discussed back in this safe route to schools thing about the needing crosswalks and what have you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought that you said that other children had gotten hit
No,
there.
ma'am. I didn't say that.
But, I did have you on speakerphone. My son was in the room, but that's fine.
That's fine.
I mean, but
I didn't
that's
say-
fine. That's all well and good. It's not even the point at this point.
Right.
Not the point. But the point is my son got hit. And nobody has done anything. So, after that, and I talked to him a couple times, I'm waiting maybe for the police to say something to me. I get the police report, and the girl says that she doesn't see him, and she asks, did you want to go to the emergency room? Yada, yada, yada. He's a minor, she's an adult. Still, there's nothing done to her. Fine, we're not gonna charge her. What are we gonna do with her? Nobody, police department, nobody is saying anything to me. So I come back up there and I get pictures of the car. The pictures of her car, if I may let everybody see. Her windshield is busted. The bottom of her car is gone because he's broken all this off. So he's hopped up onto the car. This is how hard she's hit him. And he fell off the car. And the police department has seen the photos, but yet nobody has said anything to me. Which completely baffles me. I don't understand how nobody wants to know how fast she's going. Nobody wants to know if she was drinking at this point. That's fine and well. My concern is, if the children have to go to school, and there's that little bridge, how are they gonna cross the street with no crosswalk, with nothing to slow the people down as they're going across this bridge? Why is there no money and no funding for this? Because there seems to be funding for everything else, and it seems like you guys are on a budget, and I completely understand this. What would have taken if I wouldn't have came here today and explained this to you guys, because I'm sure probably nobody had really known anything but these two. Is it going to take for somebody to get killed, for somebody to get something done at this point? Is it fair for me to feel a certain type of way, or my son to feel a certain type of way about the police department, or what the city is not doing in order to keep our children safe? See, this is my only son, and I had him when I was 36, and I've been through some things in my life. And I've been delivered, and I've got an awesome testimony of what God has done for me. And I'm looking for some type of justice, and I don't want to read the paper and see that somebody is going to get hit there and die, and nobody does anything. This is so unacceptable in society today. It's something that you see almost on CNN on a daily basis, of things happening in the world or in the society, and nobody does anything. And I'm just not going to let this slide. Get some little things that make the car slow down. How in the world is this young lady able to drive to Douglas with her car like that? How is it not? Nobody is calling the Douglas Police Department and saying, come back and let's get a look at the car or anything. Why is none of this done? It's crazy to me. I've never seen anything like this. I never thought I would be sitting up here or standing up here talking to everybody today about my concerns about Collins Street and my child. And it's 4 minutes away a walk. And he calls me every day. I don't want to walk home. You know, I'm at work. I don't want to walk home. I'm looking every which way. He's scared. It's not fair. It's not fair for the police department to make me feel uncomfortable because I'm asking questions. Because I actually left a note up there Friday. I want to know how many kids have gotten hit there. And the young lady called me today. She said, hey, it's going to cost you $14 an hour for me to do it. You know, and I'm like, what? I said, after my kid has gotten hit, you're going to charge me for some simple information? That I just want to know how many kids have gotten hit? Because if other kids have gotten hit, then maybe something should have been done a long time ago.
If I may,
Yes.
I was told that you had asked for every accident report that involves someone getting hit for a long period of time.
I wrote her a note, and she called me today, and I told her I want to know of all the accidents of kids walking to school.
Okay.
I told her that today. She said, I'm going to charge you $14 an hour. And I said, are you joking? I said, I just want this information. Would it be easier for my lawyer to come in and do it? It doesn't matter. I'm still going to charge you $14 an hour. And she said it in such a manner that it was almost scary. It was scary to be a parent with a kid who's gotten hit by somebody and nobody cares. Nobody cares. The police department, I'm scared to drive my car because after I leave here and I have voiced what I think about what they have done, I am scared. I'm scared for my son to walk home. I'm scared to drive because I don't want the police looking at me from every corner trying to find something on me. And it's not a good feeling to have.
We have a great police department. I'm serious. We have one of the best police departments around.
And I get that.
And they treat people fairly.
I understand that. But at this point, in this juncture right here, somebody should have went and seen how fast she was driving to maybe do a drug test or something upon her instead of just saying she dropped him off so it's not a hit and run. How would you like it if that was your child? How would you like it if that was your daughter? How would a mother like that when you get a
I
phone
was
call?
told that once he was hit, he got in the vehicle with that person and they drove him to school, correct?
That's exactly what she did.
And that would not constitute a hit and run.
Okay. She was very kind to take him to school without calling the police, which I think if you hit somebody with a car, wouldn't that constitute that you call the police, or you would call somebody? I mean, just being a Christian, let's look at it from that perspective. Just being a good human being. If you hit somebody in the car, wouldn't you call the police? And your windshield looks like that, sir. Her windshield looks like that. There was some damage done. Come on. We just really need to really be honest. As Christians in America, as good people as we claim that we are, if your car ends up like that, I would sit there and I would call the police. I said, hey, don't move.
Ms. Jones, we're here to serve,
Yes, sir.
including you and your son.
Yes, sir.
And from what you've told me, and all of us, I'm sure, will agree with this, we're very sorry of what we've heard here. This is not good in our minds either. For your child to be crossing that bridge and a car hit him, and particularly with that sort of damage, we concur with you. But also remember this too,
Yes.
we're here, you've been sitting here a pretty good while, and we're
Yes, sir.
struggling with issues, and we're trying to serve everybody, including you and your son.
Yes, sir.
So I know you're frustrated.
I am.
And
I'm almost in tears.
I know you are, and I'm sorry. And I want you to know that. We all are sorry that you feel this way. But again, too now, I'll assure you, I know these men very, very, very well, and Miss Bernice as well. We bust our bottoms to help anybody.
Yes, sir.
And the color of your skin is not important to us. We're not some prejudiced people at all now.
Yes, sir.
So, and the chief of police is sitting here.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'll assure you, he and his staff, you being a Christian lady, you doing what you're supposed to do, you're not gonna have any trouble, and they're gonna be looking after you too.
Yes, sir.
So with that said, I'm disappointed at what happened as well. But now we need to approach this in a Christian, in a
Yes.
sensible sort of way.
Absolutely.
You stated your case very well, and I can understand you being frustrated. I sometimes get frustrated too.
Yes, sir.
So we've heard your case. Now we'll discuss this, and we'll do what we can to see jointly what we can do to help you. And
Yes,
if
sir.
we've made an error, we'll try to correct it.
Yes,
And if
sir.
we haven't, I want to, and here again now, I'm for you, I'm for you. But another thing too, surely there should have been some type of easement made there, but you just don't. No, I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not making any judgment. We'll do what we can to help you. You presented your case well, and let us go from there.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And we're real sorry.
We need copies.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Oh, yes, have you got a copy of that? We'd like to get a copy of it. Can we get a copy of
Yes,
that?
you can.
Honey, I guess you'll have to do it.
So let me copy of it with your phone.
What's that, the photos of the accident, the car?
Yeah, this,
You got
You
that?
got all this?
Yes.
Okay, all right, Ms. Jones, you can have it. He says he already
He'll
has it.
forward that to me,
Yeah, all right.
Mrs. Denise.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, and again, we're real sorry.
Thank you.
And we understand you being passionate about it, we really do.
Yes.
All right, let's move
I'd
on.
like to say something. Ms. Jones, you said you weren't gonna let it drop. We're not gonna let it drop either. We're gonna get to the bottom of it, find out, get some explanation. There may be a reasonable explanation, I don't know. But
Yes, sir.
we're not gonna ignore it.
Thank you.
Make sure you know
Be
that.
assured of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, citizens' comments.
I got a question. It's not a comment, it's a question. And Tommy, you know I'm all about splosh, but can you explain to me how you can use taxpayer splosh money on I heard y'all discussing earlier, attaching to someone's private business?
Yeah, this is,
Streetscapes, I understand that's where you go in and you can do sidewalks and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Street lights.
it could bear some looking into, but here's the thing about it. Let me just explain the whole deal. What was this, 6 years? 6 years ago, I made the recommendation that we put $500,000
for streetscape, improving our downtown. Several members of that council wanted to also include the parks. And here we are 6 years later. We've spent maybe $15,000 on downtown, and all the rest of that $500,000 has gone to parks. And I've only got 2 months left, and I'm very disappointed that happened. That we didn't do what we told the taxpayers, what we told the voters we would do. And I want us to do something for the downtown, and I got 40-something days left to do it.
Just be careful with the
I know.
individual
I know.
businesses. You do it for
The council
one, you gotta
in
do
the
it for
past,
all.
I've asked the council in the past to put some money into the Downtown Development Authority, and the council has not agreed with me. And if we had that money designated to Downtown Development Authority, it wouldn't have been a problem.
That's fine.
But the council won't do it. And so the only place I can get money to try to help our downtown is from the SPOS. Now, I certainly would want Ken to check on it and make sure we're okay. If we're wrong, that's fine, but at least I tried.
Grants, I
I'm the only
understand, but
one.
I don't know that you can do the splosh. I don't think you can take that splosh money, but we'll see.
And
Okay,
that's fine with me.
okay, what else, any other citizen comments, just burning to, anything burning your, mind and all right at this time that you want to bring up? Here not, okay, council, you got anything that you question that you want to add to the work, tonight's work?
The only thing I guess this might be the proper time, I don't know, but I told my community I would bring it up. I called Ken to the police station about after school when the buses stopped. The other day we seen a car come past the house with the arms out, and I mean totally. And had Jaden not had his shoes untied and his sister called him, she'd have got hit and I'd have seen her killed. So I wanted to mention it in the meeting because I wanted to get to the citizens of Jeff Davis to slow down when they see the buses. When they going, I know we get in a hurry sometimes, but when we see this, they have to slow down. And the officers came and patrolled and looked and all the next day. But on this particular day, I've been in the ER when kids come in. I've seen them when they got hit by a car. But this would have not been it would have been a tragedy. But she never stopped. But the bus driver, I think, was in tears trying to get no, she couldn't even move. But the car just went around, just kept going. And they kind of go pretty fast sometimes.
There are some school systems that, they're all equipped with cameras,
Mm-hmm.
but it's focused on the inside.
Yeah.
And some school systems, I don't know whether they get additional cameras or what they do, they focus it on the outside, have a camera focused on it, so those people are called,
Mm-hmm.
they're on camera. You see what I'm saying? So I think and the police can't be everywhere
No,
every time, you know what I'm
no,
saying? But I think the school system can address that problem.
Yes.
If they've got the money to do it.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Johnson?
That's good.
Okay, gentlemen, commissioners, we've got a serious personnel matter that also involves insurance, and we've got our insurance advisor here with us, and he's made a trip here, so we need to go into executive session for a few minutes to discuss a personnel issue that I don't think, if y'all will help me, will last very long. I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second? Motion made, second, go into executive session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Folks, we'll be back as soon as we can. I don't think it'll be long.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Just already. Okay, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Move that, no, wait a minute, not that one.
To go back in.
Yeah, look, then move back to which session, I have a second. Second by Mr. Bloodworth, all in favor, say aye. All right, the action taken in the legislative council will be further clarified Thursday night in our regular meeting. Mr. Johnson?
So moved, let's go.
Second.
Motion made, second, we go home. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow, brother.
Bye, Ron.
Come on, Mike, we'll be here.
I did.
I told her I was appreciated she made the second phone, because I didn't. She made the second phone call to me, and this was very
I didn't
nice.
stop her too quick, because I knew she had to get it
But I
off her
also
chest.
told her,
I
Attorney
gave her
Smith,
time to get it off her chest, and we do want to look into it.
Yeah.
I did